Hello. Okay. Hello and welcome to lesson number 6 on bias repair. Okay, for this lesson I will give a brief introduction to ASUS bias. Okay, so today I will talk about ASUS bias and its structure. Okay, lesson number 5. You have learned how to decrypt the Dell bias. Okay, today you will see. Okay, I will teach about ASUS bias, how they work, and how can we have the bias all prepared for being flashed on the EEPROM. Okay, so and as always, okay, as you know, we have to go to the website, to the manufacturer website, and download a clean, good bias. Okay, so in this case, as we can see, okay, I went into my country, www.asu.com, okay, PT, okay, PT meaning Portugal, okay, all this written in Portuguese, okay. In your case, you have to go to your country, okay, www.asu.com, and then your country, okay, and then support. So asus.com PT Portugal support, okay, and then we go to download drivers. Okay, this is in Portuguese, in English meaning drivers download. Okay, and then we click on drivers download, and then in this option window right here we have in Portuguese modelo do produto, in English is product model. Okay, and we choose model manually. Okay, we will choose this option, okay, that will enable us to choose our computer manually. Okay, so choose model manually. We pick up this option, and then we are taken to the choose right here where my mouse, okay, where my arrow is. Choose model manually. Okay, notebooks and ultrabooks. Okay, this is the option. Okay, if it is EPC, I will choose this option EPC. If it is a laptop, PC laptop, I will choose this PC laptop. Okay, and then we click on the option we want. Okay, and what we want is X502 CA computer. Okay, so PC laptop right here, this is in Portuguese, okay, in English meaning PC laptop, okay, series X502, right, and then sorry, and then number 3, the family, okay, family X502 CA. Okay, after this we will have the point number 4, okay, right here, X502 CA. Okay, what we want with this computer: drivers, controllers and tools, informations, warranty, manuals and documentation. What we want is drivers, controllers and tools. Okay, point number 4, and we click on this option and we are taken to a new menu. Okay, point number 1, point number 2, and point number 3. Okay, on point number 1, as you know, BIOS is OS independent. Okay, why? Because we will not flash it use Windows or DOS. Okay, we will use it to decompress. Okay, grab the file we want, the rom.bin, .fd, .wph, and we will grab that file. We will work on that file, and we will flash it directly on the EEPROM. Okay, using our programmer. We will not use Windows or DOS, so it's OS independent. But in this case, in this ASUS website, we have not the option OS independent. So we randomly choose Windows 8.1. Okay, it was only so we could download the BIOS to show you. Okay, so this is not mandatory. Okay, you can use Windows XP, Windows 7. Okay, this was only random. Windows 8.1 64 bits. Okay, and then we will have 79 files found. Okay, and we have here bias. Okay, this number 4 means that we will have 4 bias files, okay, in here. Version 2009, sorry, version 209, version 208, okay, and so on. As you know, we always use the latest version, okay. The point number 3, okay, we will choose the server. Server is global, and we choose this server global, and we will download the bias we need. Okay, so as we are in lesson number 6, okay, you have seen that I have jumped several steps. Okay, I have jumped several steps. So here we have our folder. Okay, lesson bias, lesson 6. Okay, lesson 6, testing bias. We have our original backup from the computer with 8 megabytes, and we have here the website bias with 6.1 megabytes. Okay, so once we have both bias, let's start working. Okay, and fix this bias right here, so we can flash it on the EEPROM, and we have our computer or customer computer working. Okay, point number one, sorry, Windows number one, okay, we have the bias taken from the website. Window number 2 right here, okay, window number 2, we have the backup bias taken from the computer. Okay, so as we look the offset 0, okay, the bias taken from the website starts with 8B6 to the 80, okay, and bias taken from the computer, we have the ME region, indicating that this ASUS 502 is an Intel project. Okay, because AMD project does not have ME region. Okay, only Intel projects, Intel platforms, we will find the ME region. So this is an Intel project. Okay, so as you can see, okay, the information, the header, okay, the top of all this data, it's not equal. Okay, so what we do, we will use the option find. Using the option find, we will select on the backup bias the ME region. Okay, and this starts with 5A, A5, F0, 0F. Okay, this is in Portuguese, meaning in English we copy. Okay, we will copy this information and we will pass. This is in Portuguese, okay, in English meaning past. We will pass on the bias we took from the website. Okay, so when we use the option find, it really has the 5A, A5, F0, 0F. Okay, but let's just analyze the data before and after. Before 5.8, okay, we have C4, 10, 3D. Okay, before 5A, we have the 16 Fs. Okay, different, not equal. After 5A, A5, F0, 0F on the bias we took from the website, it's 0F, 94. After the 5A, A5, F0, 0F on bias taken from the computer, okay, we have the 03, 0004. Okay, as we can see, it's not equal. Okay, if we simply if we cut from this and flash this information on the EEPROM, okay, the computer would not work. Okay, the computer would not work, so we need to work on this bias. Okay, so we can flash it and the notebook works. Okay, so let's see the difference between ASUS bias and the other bias from lesson number 1 to the lesson number 5. Okay, and why this lesson is called Introduction to ASUS bias. Okay, why it is not the full class about ASUS bias. Okay, I will show you the difference between ASUS bias and the rest that we have seen, okay, from lesson 5 to lesson number 1. Okay, so let's go back again, okay, to our folder where we have the BIOS we took from the computer, backup original, okay, or English original backup, and we have the X502, X502 CA, okay, with 6 megabytes. Okay, now let's see how this works. Okay, so as we can see, okay, they have different sizes, and as we know, okay, the backup taken from the computer is always right. Okay, I used to say that the BIOS we take from the computer is always right. Is always right how? Okay, is always right in size. Okay, in size, because the BIOS we take from the website, okay, it comes smaller or larger or even equal. Okay, or even equal. Okay, but the BIOS we take from the computer, it will have the exact size it is supposed to have. Okay, if you have an 8 megabytes IC EEPROM, IC chip, IC EEPROM, okay, that BIOS has to be 8 megabytes. Okay, if the chip is 2 megabytes, the BIOS file has to be needs to be 2 megabytes. Okay, if that IC chip is 1 megabyte, the BIOS file needs to be 1 megabyte. Okay, so that is why I always say that the BIOS we took from the computer in matter of size is right. Okay, but Claudio, is there a time that the BIOS size from the backup we took from the computer is not right? Yes. Okay, yes, you will find BIOS that you have made the backup from the computer, and that BIOS is smaller or larger. Okay, why? Because of bugs. That is called bugs. Okay, it's when the BIOS lost data, or when it is written, okay, something on that BIOS. Okay, but the size, it will increase. For example, this is 92. Okay, you will have 94. Okay, 94, 93. Okay, will not increase much. Okay, it will increase 1 byte to 4 bytes at most. Okay, 4 bytes at most. Okay, the maximum you will find is 96. Okay, 8196, 95, 94. Okay, so as you know, 8 megabytes is 8.192. Okay, this is the correct size. If you made a backup, okay, and that backup is 8 megabytes, but it shows you on KB, okay, on kilobytes, for 8.190, okay, that BIOS file, okay, it's damaged, and you will need to replace it. Okay, so that's why I always tell, okay, that the BIOS taken from the computer is always right. Okay, in the matter of size. Okay, because we only use the BIOS taken from the computer for reference. Reference of what? Size, data, beginning and end. Okay, it's always right concerning that matter. Okay, concerning that matter. So as the BIOS taken from the computer is 8 megabytes, so we will have to have on the BIOS taken from the website 8 megabytes as well. Okay, so we need to work on it. Okay, so making some counts. Okay, knowing that the BIOS from the computer is 8 megabytes and BIOS taken from the website is 6 megabytes, the difference between them is 2 megabytes. Okay, so as we know, 2 megabytes, the offset is 209.71.52. Okay, so 2 megabytes, 209.71.52. Okay, but here is the key. Okay, now pay close attention to this. Okay, for you see the difference between Dell, Toshiba, Acer, HP, Apple, okay, Sony, Lenovo, okay, BIOS is different from the ASUS. Why? Because so far we have learned that we would not use the BIOS. Sorry, sorry, dust. Okay, so far we have learned that that we would not use, okay, the BIOS taken from the computer, okay, only for reference, okay. But in ASUS BIOS we cannot use the file we have downloaded from the website. Your computer will not work, okay. So the key is always use the BIOS we have made the backup from the computer, okay. So here, okay, here with this cross saying not to use, we have, I'm sorry, we have the BIOS we downloaded from the manufacturer's website. Here with this arrow we have the BIOS we have downloaded, we have downloaded from the computer, okay, using our programmer, okay. We will use this information, this data from the BIOS we downloaded from the website. We will copy all this information and we will paste on the BIOS we have took from the computer, okay. This is the secret. This is the key on ASUS BIOS, okay. We download the BIOS from the website, but we will copy that information and paste on the BIOS we have downloaded from the computer, okay. So now watch this. Knowing that the difference between BIOS from website and BIOS from computer, okay, the difference between them is 2 megabytes, okay, we will now start to work, okay. So we will use the offset option, okay, arrow number 1, okay, arrow number 1 right here. We will choose the offset 209/7152, okay. This is option go to, okay, meaning go to right here, okay. And we will choose from where, from the beginning, okay, decimal 209/7152, okay. We select the offset 0, okay, beginning, because we have the option here, okay, accepted from the beginning of file. So we will put a cursor on the beginning right here, offset 0, and we will click on go, okay. The offset here on the arrow, the offset 209/7152, it's here, okay. As you can see, the offset is here, okay, right here. So we select this option, okay, right here. So we select this option right here, 21C3FFC2, okay. We will copy this information, okay, and we will paste on the BIOS we have downloaded from the website, okay. And we have found that information, okay. We have found this information, okay. Let's just analyze the data, okay. Before 21, okay, the group of F's, okay, it's right. After 21C3FFC2, okay. After this we have AF 00000000 21 1E C2AF, okay. So let's compare AF 0000000021, okay, it's the same, okay, it's the same. So we have this information that matches on both BIOS, okay, on both BIOS. So this is where we will make the cut, okay. This is where we will make the cut, okay. So the BIOS will be ready to be flashed and worked on our ASUS computer, okay. So we will choose this information up, we will choose this information right here, okay, up, remembering that this BIOS number 1, it's the BIOS we have downloaded from the website. Okay, we will not use this BIOS. Okay, we will copy this information and paste on the computer, on the BIOS we have made our backup from computer. Okay, we will copy this information and paste here. We will copy this information on the website BIOS. Okay, and we will paste on the BIOS we took from the computer. Okay, we will use this file. Okay, right here. So first and foremost, we will select from this point right here 2 megabytes. Megabytes is right here. Okay, we will choose this option. Okay, and we will select all this information up to the offset 0. Okay, and delete all this information. Okay, after we have deleted all that information, okay, we will end up with similar information. Okay, then we will go to see the bottom of both BIOS. Okay, the bottom of both BIOS is quite similar. Okay, it's not equal, it's quite similar. Why? Because this is the BIOS we took from the computer, and this is the BIOS we have downloaded from the website. Okay, so here we have all equal. Okay, but the only difference is this DN and this have this letter O. Okay, what does this mean? Okay, it means that this BIOS is not working. This DN, these two letters DN, was not supposed to be here. Okay, here it is supposed to have this letter O. Okay, this BIOS is corrupted. Okay, this BIOS is corrupted. Okay, I have told you before. Okay, some BIOS will have extra information. Okay, it's not quite extra information. Okay, it is called a bug. Okay, it is called a bug. Okay, this is called a bug or BIOS corrupted. Okay, so the BIOS, it will work until it gets to here. Okay, until it gets to these zeros. Okay, these zeros. Once this BIOS gets to this 44, 40, okay, and he sees that it's different from here. Okay, this BIOS stops right here. Okay, this BIOS stops right here, because this BIOS is supposed to communicate with computer controllers. Okay, SIO, GMCH, ICH, PCH, CPU. Okay, VGA, graphic IC. Okay, this BIOS is supposed to communicate. Okay, and then when this software, when the EEPROM, when the computer start reading this program right here, okay, and he gets this DN, and then the computer says, I don't know what this means. Okay, I don't have this command. Okay, here I need one dot, and then I need another one dot, and then I need the letter O. Okay, I don't know what to do with this D and with this N, so the computer will have no image. Okay, no image fault. Okay, because this BIOS will stop here. Okay, I'm sorry for my English. Okay, but once again, I'm Portuguese, my first language is Portuguese. Okay, so after this class, okay, I will close Bandicam for our offline students. Okay, if there is something that you need me to explain better, okay, I will explain. Okay, so this BIOS is called a corrupted BIOS. Okay, it will not work. Okay, because the hardware, it will need dot and 0. O. Okay, O, the letter O. Okay, this letter right here, letter O. Okay, it will need this letter on the third point. Okay, what has happened here, I don't know. Okay, it might be a faulty shutdown. Okay, don't know. Okay, might something virus. The client has shut down the computer wrongly. Okay, it was not with Windows. Shut down manually. Okay, remove the DC jack, press power button 5 seconds. Okay, something has happened here that change the code. Okay, they change the primary code. Something happened here. Okay, and this is client's fault. Okay, this is client's fault. Okay, because as we can see, something exterior has changed this BIOS structure. Okay, so when we see when we download a BIOS from the website and the data is different from the backup BIOS taken from the computer, okay, it that means, okay, first and foremost, okay, client's fault. Okay, it is not a computer fault, it's a client fault. Okay, a bad shutdown computer, viruses, something like that. Okay, something like that. Okay, wrong CPU, something like that. Okay, something that a human being has done, okay, to damage the BIOS file. Okay, right here. So this DN is not supposed to be here. Okay, this BIOS is corrupted. Okay, it will not work. Okay, right here, computer with image fault. Okay, no image fault right here on this computer. Okay, so as we can see, okay, the bottom, the tail, okay, it is not equal. Okay, it's similar but not equal. Okay, for this BIOS to work, this end needs to be equal. Okay, and then you say, Claudio, why I don't only change this information, okay, manually? I can just copy this information right here. Okay, I can only copy all this hexadecimal code and pass it here. Okay, I don't advise that. Okay, why? Because you are only seeing the end of this code. Okay, in the middle can have lots and lots of mistakes. Okay, lost data, adding data. Okay, sorry, added data. Okay, so what we do is to remove and replace everything. Okay, okay, this can okay, this can be only the only mistake, the only error in this BIOS. Can, okay, can. But as we don't have the sure, okay, as we are not sure about that, so we clean everything. Okay, we remove all this information and we copy all this information from BIOS we took from the manufacturer website, and we will paste this information, this good, clean and perfect BIOS to here. Okay, that's what we will do. Okay, so okay, so this is steps more forward. Okay, this is steps forward. Okay, so what I have done, it's simple. Okay, I have selected all this information. Let's just go back a little bit. Okay, what I have done here, okay, it was like this. I selected all this information up to the offset 0 and delete it. Okay, after delete that, okay, I will select all the remaining information, 21 C3 FF C2. Okay, I will just copy all the remaining information. Okay, and then I will go and then I will go to my BIOS I took from the computer. Okay, and I will select this information, 21 C3 FF C2. Okay, because it's equal to this information, and I will delete all this information. Okay, I will delete all this information. Okay, when I delete all this information, I will copy all this information right here and I will paste to BIOS I took from the computer. Okay, from the computer. After that, as you can see right here on red color, 21. Okay, it's all the information that it was on the BIOS we took from the website. Okay, I copied from here and I have passed it to here. Okay, from the 21, let me go back again. From the 21, as you can see right here. Okay, from the 21 to the bottom. Okay, to the bottom of this BIOS. Okay, the difference between Dell BIOS, Acer BIOS, Toshiba BIOS, Lenovo BIOS is that all that laptops, okay, we will work with the BIOS we have downloaded from the manufacturer's website. On ASUS, we will work with the bias we took from the computer. Okay, I don't know why, but we have made several tests, okay, and we couldn't make it function with the bias we have downloaded from the website. Okay, we only succeed with the bias we took from the computer. Okay, don't ask me why, I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Okay, so we have made several tests, several tries, and with the bias we took from the manufacturer's website, okay, the computer won't boot, won't work. Okay, same failure. Once we have tried, used the same file but fixed, okay, the computer worked, okay, and it worked all the times, okay, we have made. So this is the difference between ASUS bias and the other brand bias. Okay, ASUS bias, remember this, ASUS bias, we work with the bias we have took from the computer. Okay, that is called recovered. Okay, we will recover that bias. Okay, right here. Then after we passed all the information from the bias that we took from the website, okay, we will save it and give it a new name. Okay, in my case I have named as ASUS X 502C backup original, and this is Portuguese, meaning in English recovered. Okay, because I have recovered. Okay, I haven't made a new bias. Okay, I have recovered the old bias. Okay, so I name it recovered. Recuperado in Portuguese. Okay, in English is recovered. Okay, and then save. Okay, this option key means save, this option key means cancel. Okay, and then I choose the option save. Okay, so now we can see, okay, that we have both bias, okay, working good and working perfect. Okay, and we are ready I'm sorry, and we are ready, okay, to flash it on EEPROM. Okay, so this was lesson number 6. Okay, next lesson is lesson number 7, and we will still working on bias from ASUS. Okay, so I will now close the Bandicam. Okay, I will open the chat. Any questions, any questions, and I am pleased to answer you. Ok, então I'm just gonna close Bandicam. Okay, 1 second.